Fairly certain. We're live with Taylor Dukes. Hello.
Hello, how
Come and
are you?
do. I'm doing good. You're here all the way from New Zealand.
I am. I'm coming to you from the future. This is,
Yes. How is it? How's it looking?
oh, it's pretty good. It's
Oh,
nice.
that makes me hopeful.
Yeah,
That's nice to hear. I feel so bad. I'm so embarrassed that I didn't realize you were in New Zealand. And
don't be
so
embarrassed.
for the people who didn't know, we were like messaging each other and you couldn't have been clearer that you were in a different country. Cause I was like, do you want to do Tuesday at 5 p.m.? And you're like, well, that's actually Wednesday and it'll be like 7 a.m. there. And I was like, haha, LOL. All right.
The math in my head, I'm like 5 p.m. What does that make? That's 9 a.m. and I'm not a morning person, so I
Yeah,
was
you,
like,
you were like,
okay,
I'm
let
not a morning person. And I was like, yeah, 5 p.m. That's not morning. Duh. God.
uh,
I thank you so much for being here right now. It's early
oh,
there. I
thanks for
appreciate it.
getting me out of bed.
Yeah, yeah. Well, so how are things in New Zealand?
Well, definitely better than in the States currently. I think
Wow.
we have less than 2,000 cases at the moment, and people are kind of like staying inside, so everything's locked down. We can't even like go to restaurants or get coffee or anything like that. It's
Yeah.
like total lockdown here.
Yeah, that's how it is in Ohio, because that's where I'm at. It's like
uh,
every yeah, every state is different out here.
Strangely enough, my parents went out and bought my brother a car the other day, so apparently car lots are still open.
Interesting.
Yeah, weird, right? I was like, that's not essential. Excuse me.
Right. I don't that's odd. Okay.
County, I don't know, county by county or something.
Yeah. I mean,
Also, like, pick up takeaway food too. And we can't even do that here. So,
oh really? Yeah, that
yeah.
is funny. We can't get takeaway food here, and it is an interesting note where it's like, okay, I get it. Like we're not inside and we're not all like there's no other people around us. And so that limits the exposure, but like you're still, I don't know, there's
Eating
still something.
that.
Yeah.
And they're saying, like, if you have it and you touch something, it like lives on that surface for, however long.
However
So,
long. And I mean, we just gotta trust that the people working in restaurants are all wearing gloves, but like,
and
yeah, and washing their hands. Yeah, it is very weird. And
strange.
yeah.
The vibe's a bit weird. I think, especially here at the grocery store, it's weird. So
Mm.
they won't let you in until, like, they only let 15 people into the grocery store at a time.
Wow.
Everyone else wait out in like this segmented line with like 2 meters between each X where everyone can stand. And
Okay.
before you go in, you have to like put on their antibacterial before you like walk into the store. And then there's
Whoa.
a store who's like spraying down all the carts.
Yeah.
Oh, it's pretty intense. It gives you vibes. Like I walk in and I'm like, oh my gosh, what is happening in here?
Yeah, that's crazy.
Weird.
Now, do they have, I mean, so I've never been to New Zealand. This is probably like a super naive question, but is it like a full like supermarket like we've got here, right? That's big
Yeah.
grocery stores. Okay.
They just have like everything that's in there is like completely different than the stuff that we have. So my walking through that was probably the hardest thing about coming to New Zealand was walking through and being like, where can I get macaroni and cheese? Like, where's the cereal? How can I find where's that? So
Yeah.
other produce, everything is different.
Okay. Wow. Hmm.
Mm,
That's
tough.
interesting. But I ask because like it's got to be so strange. I don't know exactly how many they're allowing in grocery stores right now in Ohio because I actually haven't been doing the shopping. My husband's been doing it.
Mm.
But like I know they've been limiting how many people. I feel like 15 though it's like a ghost town at that
Yeah.
point. That's like
Well,
such a small amount to be in a
they
huge
don't want
store.
you to pass people. So
Wow.
if you're like in an aisle, someone coming down the aisle will stop and back up, wait for you to come out the aisle, and then start going down the aisle.
Oh man, that's great.
It's
That-
intense.
yeah.
And our numbers are dropping. So I think at the height of it, we were having like 80 people a day. And now I think we've gone down every day for the past like week. So we're down to like 17 a day.
That's
So
great.
they're thinking about lifting everything soon, at least
Okay.
going level 3 instead of level 4, which is
Yeah.
fantastic.
That's great. How are you guys? Do you know if you're ahead of the states in what's been going on, or are you guys as far as cases or?
Well, so we hit our peak before you guys did, I believe.
Okay.
So we're now on the
Okay.
downtrodden.
Okay.
We
So you
only
guys
have
were
9 deaths. Yeah, so it's we had one for the longest time, and then the last couple days, I think everything's kind of taking effect, and so
yeah,
we've
yeah.
9 as of now.
Wow. Man. Well, so you are from the future both in time and then also curve-wise. That's great to hear. And it's it is very hopeful to hear that's like, okay, there is going to be an end eventually.
It actually works. I think as
Yeah.
long as people are, doing it, it works.
Yeah. Yeah.
Everyone's getting antsy and it's kind of hard to stay inside all the time, but
Sure.
um,
How long have you guys had the stay inside measure there?
we're on week 3.
Okay.
We're, but our stay-at-home measure is only for 4 weeks, but they've decided that since it's going down, we're going to go down to level 3. So I think level 3 is you can still get takeaways and
Okay.
like coffee to go and things
Yeah.
like that.
Yeah.
So we'll
Okay.
be down in a week probably.
I think we're going into week 3 or 4. I have
Well,
no idea anymore.
you guys have been in quarantine for forever, right? Or at least social
Feels like
distancing
it.
over.
Yeah. Yeah, because
Uh,
it was like mid-March or mid to end of March that this all started. Oh my God, is that snow that I see out my window?
no.
We've had insane weather. It's been
Oh,
snowing.
yeah,
There
it's
was a
been
tornado last week. Like it's been madness.
doesn't make any sense.
It doesn't at all. Because at least like if it's sunny outside, you kind of feel a little hopeful and you can go for a walk or whatever. When it's snowing, it's like, oh my God, just fine. That's fine.
Fine. It's fine. You're like the dog in the burning room. It's okay. I'm all right.
Oh my gosh. Well, okay. I always do this. I always do my interviews a little bit backwards. I forgot to kind of like really introduce you and what you do. I just was like, I don't know. You're a musician, which I love. You're a beautiful, beautiful musician. You play guitar, you sing. Do you play anything else too?
Uh, I can dabble on the keyboard, but I'm
Okay.
not.
Yeah,
I
but
can
like,
I can play hot cross buns on the recorder real good.
hey, wow. Add that to the next album, right?
I will. Sounds like
Oh my God.
yeah.
Yeah. So how for you, how have things been going? Because musicians, it's a very creative role.
Yeah.
Um,
I
have
mean,
you-
in a sense, good. Like
okay.
I have more time to like sit down and write and like bring out my introvert, like
Hmm.
I'm pretty good at sitting down in a corner for like 5 hours and just like writing music, which is great. But
Wow,
then
that's
you
great.
do like 5 days in a row and you're like, okay, I need to like do something with my life. What's happening?
Yeah, yeah, yeah.
For a walk. But
Mhm.
unfortunately, I had a friend, a musician friend, coming to visit me end of March, and we had put together a show, and she was the first friend who was coming to visit me in New Zealand, so I was so excited. And of course, literally like 2 days before she was scheduled to get onto the plane, um, our prime minister New Zealand prime minister put in a travel ban, like no one can travel into the states, and if they or into New Zealand, and if they did, they had to quarantine for 2 weeks before they could do anything. So she
Uh,
was like, that kind of throws a wrench into
yeah.
that.
Pause the
Yeah,
trip. Can't go then.
yeah.
Wow.
So that
Um,
happened, and can't play any shows because no gatherings,
yeah,
which probably be for a while. I have a feeling, but
yeah.
yeah, weird. It's good
Have,
and bad.
have there been any, because for comedians, there's been a lot of like Zoom shows and open mics and such like that. Have you done any of those shows?
I have not. I'm
Okay.
actually very afraid of Instagram Live and Facebook Live and
Mhm.
all that. I think it's like just worried that no one would tune in. I don't know. I'm watching all my friends do it, and all of
Right.
like my heroes and like musical legends. You know, they go live all the time, and I'll wake up in the morning and like have a concert before I have my coffee, which is great. But I definitely have to, yeah, I have to start doing it. It's just
Well, it is. It's weird. I've only done one comedy show so far. I did it last Thursday, and it was fun. That's for sure. But it was different.
yeah,
And for comedians, at least, like, we have the security net of, like, there were there were three comedians and like three guests, and they all zoomed in too. So like the three comedians, we were just sort of doing our sets and we were talking over each other, and like, it was more of a conversation than it really was doing our sets. And then we had the guests would kind of chime in too. And so it like was really more of like a hangout than an actual show, which was cool and a lot of fun. But like, yeah, I don't know. It's weird doing these like Zoom shows. They're not
they don't have like, the nice like immediate laughter to like
yes
make you feel like, okay, I'm doing good, this is great. Or the clapping, like when you finish the song, like not having people clap is strange. You're like, okay, did they like it?
yeah. I mean, like, you're literally only performing in front of, like, for that show anyways, it was like those three guests who were there to act as the audience. You're like, okay, and everyone's like, haha, and you're like, okay. So my next thing, it's very weird doing that in front of people. So I don't know. I mean, I'm gonna probably do some more of them, but I don't know. It's just a very unusual.
Yeah, I think once you get used to it, you could probably, I don't know,
Yeah.
easier as you go.
Yeah.
It's that would be tough though.
Yeah. I don't know. I think there's something to this to be said about, like, also having the stage, having that be, even when you're not on a stage, even if you're just like in a corner in a bar, you still have like some distance between you and the audience, and like that makes a difference. Like, I don't know, it puts you in a performer mindset, whereas like doing
the ambiance.
Doing these Zoom shows, you're kind of just like, oh, hey, It's like, I just threw in a load of laundry and now I'm here. Like, hey, it's a weird meshing.
Yeah, there's something to be said about like the authenticity that you get through that though. Like being able to be yourself and be like, okay, yeah, my place is a little dirty, sorry. Or, like, I'm able to connect with people a little bit more than just being like up on a stage where people are like, oh,
Yeah, that's true too. That's very true. I don't know. It's a very interesting new world for performers. Like, it's just a very, I don't know, good for you though, for being able to like sit for hours and write. Like, that's the hardest part of all of it, I think.
Yeah.
Yeah.
If anything good has come from that, it's that I just have more time
to write.
Things. Yeah.
Yeah.
All those people posting about if you don't come out of this without like a side hustle or a blah blah blah, then you're lazy. And I'm like thinking about it. I'm like, my hobby these days has been watching other people come up with hobbies, like all these people making like resin crafts and like acrylic pour painting. Like, I could spend an hour just watching those videos of people, coming up with other stuff. Like, that's my.
Well, I think that's okay too. Like, I don't know. We've been commenting a lot in this group where it's like, there's such a problem with that comment, because it doesn't allow for our mental health. We have to like allow ourselves to address the fact that we are in a crisis. Like, it's not like a lot of our energy, a lot of our mental energy and emotional energy is going to just like surviving and hearing all the facts and hearing who has what, and like, so much of our energy is going to that like just saying like, well, you don't have the time to have a new skill, you're just lazy or whatever. It's like, well, no, actually our minds are working overtime right now. We're not lazy, but yeah.
There's never happened before, so everyone's kind of going
Yeah.
through something different
Yeah.
but together, which is
Well, I find very interesting just from doing this show, I've noticed like at the beginning when I started reaching out to people and even myself, like I was like, I'm doing this for 2 weeks because that's how long we thought like everything was going to
yeah,
close. So I did like so many interviews up front. And like originally when I started reaching out to people, everyone was like, yeah, absolutely. Yeah. Like, yeah, let's, everyone was very energetic and was like, we've
yeah.
got the time now. And now as I've been like reaching out to people a lot more, people are like, I'm so tired. And I was like, yep, I get it. Like I totally get it. It's tiring. The
It
world
is.
is just tiring right now.
Yeah,
Yeah.
it
Even
really
that, like, I've seen the meme too that's like our grandparents, fought in World Wars,
is
and
on our
we're,
couch.
yeah, we can do this. And it's like, yes, okay. It's true, but it's also not because, yeah, I don't know. It's just, it is different. It's a new thing that none of us have ever been through, including our grandparents. So,
Yeah. Yeah, very strange. It's a
mhm.
strange time
Yeah,
at the moment.
that's for sure. I don't know, but like I'm for comedians wise, I'm like, gosh, when we are finally allowed to get out into the world, it's gonna be just like joke after joke of like quarantine jokes, Like it's just gonna be,
Quarantine and Tiger King. A lot of Tiger King jokes, I feel like, are on the way.
yeah. A lot of Tiger King jokes are gonna be made. There's gonna be so many of them.
I
There's
feel
gonna be
like everyone's watching the same things. Netflix, I think, has something over us all, and they post up the ones that they want everyone to watch, and now they know that they have our attention. So
yeah,
they're like, watch this video of, some crazy dude with a bunch of cats.
cats
Like,
and
we're
why
like,
not? We got this one. Yeah.
better to do.
Well, I'm curious as to how many like songs are gonna be about it though too. Like
Yeah, probably quite a few. I do have a friend who just did one, and it's called Wash Your Hands, respectively. And it's actually really good. Her name's Sad Alex, if you want to like Google it. It's
okay.
catchy. Been
Yeah.
stuck in for a while.
I'm gonna write that down there. Sad
Yeah,
Alex?
Sad Alex, yeah.
Huh, interesting.
It's actually a pretty good song.
Yeah,
There's some
well,
written and then produced and put out within the last like couple weeks. It's
yeah.
crazy.
How long is your process for getting songs out there? Like, how many of your songs are you writing that actually make it to the final stages?
So few
Yeah.
end up out there. I probably myself written, hundreds of songs, probably like 500 or 600, just me, and then
Mhm.
I have co-writes with other people,
Oh,
and I think at the moment I have like 8 songs on Spotify that you can listen to. So
yeah.
that'll show you like the percentage is like 0.1.
But
But
I think that's such an important note though, because I feel like everyone with creatives, everyone just like assumes genius immediately, or like they don't allow space for creating and working on stuff and yeah, it's like of course
yeah,
you write and you write and you write and like only 8 make it out there.
sometimes you'll write a song and then like 2 years later you'll revisit it and be like, this is a great song,
Yeah.
but it needs this and this, and you rewrite it, and then it takes another year to get it like into the world, and so you're like, I wrote this 2.5 years ago. Like,
Yeah.
sometimes it takes a long time, and sometimes it can take like 2 weeks, and
And yeah, you get it out there. What
it
I
has their own lifespan.
Mhm. It's interesting. I feel like it would be sort of 2 sides of the coin here of like, one, sometimes songs when you write them are just too personal that it's like
Mm,
you need to give it time to, I don't know,
yeah.
to be able to perform it or whatever because it's just too personal.
I do have songs that I probably would never cut or put out because they are just too personal. Yeah.
Wow.
So that
Well, that's kinda cool though. It's like you've got songs just for you.
yeah.
That's really cool.
Yeah.
Your has your husband even heard them or no?
Probably not. No, actually. Yeah, some that I've like written and I've just kind of like put in a book, and I put it in a box and it's under
Mhm.
my bed. And like I never look at it again.
Wow.
Yeah. Might have to revisit that.
Yeah. Well, it's interesting too, though, because I like how many songs then later on, like you look at again and you're like, oh wow, well that was it was really personal at the time, but it's I can revisit it, or like how many you are like, wow, this is still very relevant,
Yeah.
Yeah, it's
Yeah,
interesting with time wise.
yeah, and each person is probably a lot different too. Like
Mhm.
some people don't even write from their own experiences. They'll sit down and they'll write based on what's happening in the world, like for other people.
Sure.
And I feel, yeah, I'm a very like I write things based
What
on
you're
what's going on with me. Yeah,
Yeah. Oh wow.
selfish, right? But
Yeah.
everyone's process is different.
Yeah, everyone it's the same with comedy too, where like you've got your, political comedians or whatever, and like, you've got people who do or characters where like, it's so not even real at all because they're, Mr. Wacky Pants, the, juggling clown. And you're like, okay, well that's clearly not a real person. That is a character that person's made up, And then you've got me where it's like I've got jokes that are usually personal and they're based off of real experiences. Sometimes I like embellish them to make them funnier, but
Yeah.
some of them are very real. And so it's just it's interesting. And I get a lot of people, I don't know, it is very funny because as a comedian and I'm sure as a musician too, it's like you use your real name. And so
Yeah.
real family and friends will hear my set and they'll be like, "Oh my God, are you okay? Like, what's going on there? Like, is that a real?" And I'm like, "No, it's a joke. Like, it's okay." Like, it's fine. And I'm sure it's probably the same with music where it's like some of your pieces are so deeply personal, but you wrote them 2 years ago, and then you're performing them and it's like, "Oh my God."
They're like, she's so sad, and I'm like, oh my gosh, I'm the happiest I've ever been. But that specific song was like about just the depths of despair, and so that's you okay.
It's like, no, I'm actually I love that. No, I'm happiest I've ever been, actually. Thank you.
Yeah.
Oh my
Um,
gosh. What brought you out to New Zealand?
so my husband is from New Zealand. Uh,
Oh,
yeah, he's a Kiwi. We
oh,
met. He was over in Nashville for work, and we met on Tinder. We swiped,
oh,
and
yeah.
then yeah, we just spent the next couple months together, and then I went to visit him here, and then he came and visited me for 3 months, and then we've just been back and forth and got
Okay.
married in 2018, and yeah,
Yeah.
we're back over here for a little bit.
Nice. Okay. That makes perfect sense.
Whirlwind. And
Yeah. I'm whenever this lets up, I'm gonna have to come visit because I
please do.
I would love to. I'm also just obsessed with New Zealand comedy. Like, I think there's
Really?
some of the funniest, like the
Oh, like
flight.
Taika Waititi.
Yeah. Yes.
Okay.
Yes.
Yeah.
Love him.
And oh wait, Flight of the Conchords, isn't that New Zealand?
Yeah. Yeah.
Yeah. All right. There are
Yeah.
some
And
fun for sure. Yeah.
they're very funny. And I don't know what, like, it's that accent and their timing and whatever.
Yeah.
Like, I just think they're hilarious. So I'm like, yep. I've actually been going into like some of the more like those are sort of the main guys that obviously like they had their HBO show and um I never know how to say his name, but Taika
Taika
Waititi.
Waititi.
Yeah, I have no. You would know better than I would because I have no idea. But like he obviously he's very popular in the States, especially right now.
Yeah.
Um, but like some of the just like the late night comics that are only doing the late night circuit out in New Zealand, like I don't even know their names, but I've been watching some of them, especially the women comedians. I'm like, they're hilarious.
You'll have to send some over to me because I haven't actually seen any comedy shows while I've been here. So I wonder if maybe I should be once
Yeah.
they
Yeah, once
once
they
they start.
open up again. Yeah. Well, I'm sure you can always catch a like New Zealand Zoom comedy show anytime.
I haven't downloaded Zoom. I haven't jumped onto that
Even
band.
jumped onto it. Well,
No.
this platform that I use is funny because it's just a simpler version. Like Zoom, for whatever reason, when I was looking into how to do this, there was like 3 steps to how to connect it to your Facebook feed, and I was like, "Nope, too much. Can't figure that out. Nope." And this was just 1 step, and I was like, "Great, let's go for
There,
it."
I was wondering how you got them side by side like that.
Yeah, it's just this little feed here. Just easy like this. I don't know. So I like it, but it definitely has its problems. Zoom is the major one.
Yeah.
Yeah, I don't know. Little Zoom plug there. um, I think so. I guess like how is your family and stuff doing? Everybody okay?
Yeah, everyone's good. I
Good.
think it's weird not being there.
Yeah.
Um, we'll have calls, which my brother's actually overseas right now with the Air Force too. So we're all kind of in different parts of the country, or not parts of the country, parts of the world in different
Wow.
countries. So finding a time where we can all connect is kind of crazy because he's like 12 hours ahead of me. So when I'm waking up, he's like going to sleep and
Oh
but
wow, gosh. And yeah, and it's like the middle of the afternoon for your parents, but like the day
yeah,
before or whatever. Yeah.
yeah, weird.
We have a little bit of that because my brother-in-law's in Australia. So like
Oh,
yeah.
yeah.
So we try to whenever we try to Skype with my husband's family, it's like, okay, factor in him. And then yeah, he's in Australia. He's got a one brother in New York, one brother in Cleveland, and then his dad's in Colorado. So it's like everybody's just trying to figure out time zones.
Yeah. Yeah, how's your family doing with everything?
Well, we've been doing pretty good. It's definitely hard because we've got, my parents have two grandbabies. My sister had a
Yeah.
kid, and I have my kid, and you know they
Um,
want to see them as much as they can, and they can't right now, so that's really hard. And but at least we're all here. Like,
yeah.
yeah, because for the longest time, I obviously wasn't. I was in California, so I moved back, 2 years ago, 3 years ago. So it's lucky that like, because if I was, I don't know, if I was out there with her alone, and that would just be hard.
That would be rough.
Yeah. Hmm.
How's
Maybe just
California doing? California's, is it one of the bigger issues with the state or no? I
I
about
actually,
kind of
it
rough.
it is, it definitely is one of the. There's like a certain range. Like I know they're having like a lot of issues because they're just a coast state, and so like they had a lot of world travelers coming in and bringing it. Like I actually know somebody who, um, like a friend of a friend, like this friend's family had just gotten back from a street ski trip from Italy and flew and was in California, and they had all sorts of they had the virus and stuff like that there. And this was sort of like just at the beginning of our knowledge of it.
Yeah.
Um, but like, oh, and I know another friend out there who his parents were stuck on a cruise ship and just like couldn't get.
Oh,
Yeah, like parents in their 60s, and they just were stuck on this cruise ship for weeks because no one would let them dock anywhere because there was cases, and like it was just an absolute mess. So like
yeah. What normally would be like, oh, I'm stuck on a cruise ship, like
yeah,
this
yeah, I was like
terrifying.
terrifying. Yeah, because they weren't allowed like on deck or anything. They all had to like stay in their own rooms, and like those cruise ship rooms are miserable to begin with.
Oh,
And
learn
ugh,
how to, I mean,
yeah, that was always one of those things when I was in when we were in college. We went to college together.
we went to college.
I'm
We
also
don't
wearing like my
have
Kent
gone
State
to
sweater, but
college.
just sheer coincidence. Like I just happened to like have this on today because it was cold because it's snowing, and but
Got
I was
our
like, oh, I'll leave it on. um, but yeah, I think I went all over there. I have no idea. I've lost my train of thought. Anyways, I feel like the coast states though, they're the ones that are getting hit the hardest. Um,
Mm,
they definitely
New
seem
York,
like they're doing better than like New York. Like New
yeah,
York's just like
not
in
good.
yeah, in a lot of trouble. Um, but yeah, I don't know. It's interesting.
How are people feeling? Because from over here, we like get the news, but we don't actually get the way people are like going about their days. Like, is everyone kind of like weird over there, or are they kind of like over it?
I would say everyone's still pretty weird about it. Oh no.
Just
um, everyone's pretty weird about it. We're all like I feel like it was maybe a week ago or something. They announced that we should all be wearing the face masks out. So like now everyone's like, oh, we need masks, and they're trying to figure out how to make their own masks and stuff like that. I've got the interesting perspective since I am in Ohio. Like Ohio took it very seriously early on, so I feel like it's a lot calmer here in Ohio. Like we're all just
Yeah.
sort of, yeah, I don't know, we're taking it easy and stuff. Yeah. There are definitely, like, one of my favorite things. I think I've probably said this on this live stream so many times, but it is one of my favorite things. Like we had protesters lately for the governor. Like people were out there protesting the governor on shutting down businesses, and he just was like, "You are totally allowed to protest. That's absolutely fine. You just have to stay 6 feet apart, and you cannot cough on anyone." It's like, yes, like okay. Um, yeah, I don't know. It is. It's so weird, and not to get super political, but like we've been handling it state by state, and some states, like I know Florida, I'm not there, so it's just based off of like Facebook feed news and late night show talk that or news shows that I've heard this from, but like Florida itself is sort of taking it more county by county.
Mm.
Um, yeah, so it's very weird to
It's
have
weird.
things.
Yeah, it feels like divided at the
Very
moment.
much so, yeah, yeah.
Mm.
And it feels weird to have things divided on such a micro level. Like so often local politics, like county politics. I mean, oh my God, I couldn't even tell you anyone, like who's our sheriff or any of that kind of
Yeah,
stuff. Like I don't pay attention to local politics like that. And I feel like many people don't, but
yeah,
now I think we're going to come out of that with a sort of, okay, we need to start paying attention to that because clearly they are making decisions now in the crisis. So
yeah.
yeah, I think that's going to be kind of a positive that comes out of this, I think,
Yeah.
for sure.
Oh, and then people coming out of the woodwork being like, "Oh, it's a hoax. It's a liberal hoax." I'm like, "Okay, if it's like this leftist hoax, why is the entire world going
Yeah,
for it?
right.
That doesn't make any sense
I mean, really, that would be,
to call anyone out."
yeah, right. Way to go. What a insane prank. They really thought this one through. They must have been planning this
Like,
one.
country,
Yeah.
cruise
Yeah.
ships, like, "Hey, let's get
Yeah, right. Like
great."
I don't like how they think that the left side is so organized that they could, drop this insane world plot.
They must
Whereas
be
like trying to,
impressed with them.
yeah, yeah. Meanwhile, like just trying to pick a candidate, like we can't even come together. We all kind of like, all right, guess it's Joe Biden then, like it's where it's at. Like everyone, I don't know. Nobody, I don't know. It's just so strange. Like the Democrat Party is like, they can't come together on stuff. And so I don't know. I mean, they definitely are, but like, it's just interesting to have people be like, it's their fault. They figured this out. Wow. Really? Cause from where I'm seeing, it's like, no, you gotta get together.
Yeah.
I don't know anything about New Zealand politics. I mean, but it's small. So like,
It's actually a lot different. So I was talking to my husband and my mother-in-law the other day actually about it because I was like, "Oh, well, do you have like Republican and Democrat?" And they're like, "No, so we have a Green Party, which the
okay,
Green Party is all about like the world and like the environment
sure.
and things
Makes
like
sense.
that." And then there's oh, of course, I would like blank on the names of these parties. There are two other parties. One is kind of like Republicans. They're
Okay.
more like economic,
Mhm.
and there's another party that's kind of like Democrats, a Labor Party. And so what happened in their last election, something happened where 40% of people voted for the Republican candidate, but then the other 60 voted for Labor and Green. And since neither one of them could get over 40, they went in together and they were like, let's just have one leader for both of our parties and we would win over this other party. It's crazy how they.
Wow.
I was like, is that legal? Like, could they do that?
Do that?
And they did. Apparently, like the
Wow.
majority of New Zealanders voted for both of those parties. And so they just went in together and like Yeah.
Jeez.
Have a specific percentage of, yeah,
Yeah.
dual license. Yeah.
Well,
But
that's
we're
great.
also under the queen
Yeah.
here.
The-
Yeah.
It's very interesting because I always kind of feel like we would benefit of having a third party in America, just because, especially like right now, we ended up with such extremes. They
Yeah.
say they say that our parties go through that every couple of, centuries, where it's like they get super extreme and super divided,
Yeah.
and then we all level out and we go back to just sort of middle ground. But right now it feels insanely divided, and it's like, God, I feel like we would
Yeah.
feel better if we had just like one more option. But
Well, you technically, right? Like the independent, but pretty
yeah,
much independent is like throwing your vote away. So
yeah, pretty
that's,
much.
unless like a bunch of people were like, okay, let's just do this. But
Right.
I haven't seen any candidates that are.
No, no. The only time I've ever seen that in my lifetime was like when we were in third grade or whatever, the Ross Perot. Like that was the only, you know, independent candidate that I've ever seen really go that far. Um,
Yeah,
but
it's strange.
yeah, but so it's just interesting to hear of like New Zealand being like, we're a third party, we're three parties, and they're like, we're just two right now. Like, make it happen. That's cool.
Yeah. That's pretty cool.
Yeah. Um, is the I don't know. I mean, the vibe out there in New Zealand is fairly positive though for this. I mean, now you guys
Uh,
are getting better, so
yeah, I think everyone here is very like they love like running and cycling. Like I'm pretty sure 90% of the population are cyclists, so they're kind of like getting antsy. We'll go for cycles, but you call it cycles? Yeah.
cycles. Yeah.
You go for like, yeah, rides,
Uh-huh.
but saying you can't like do these big mountain bike rides and all these things because they don't want emergency services to come save you.
Oh,
When it
wow.
go back to normal so we can go do all of our extreme sports. Like that's pretty the main thing over here at the moment.
Oh, man. Wow, what an interesting perspective. I mean, yeah, of course, they can't go out and rescue them if they
Yeah.
need to. So, but wow, that's funny. I didn't realize New Zealand was so into it, into
Yeah,
extreme sports.
they're very into fitness. I
Yeah.
found. So I'll be obviously sitting in my corner writing my, songs, and then my mother-in-law comes home and she's like, "Oh, you still over there in your corner?" I'm like, "Oh, don't mind me. I'm just being, you know,
I
being like
stretch every hour. Don't worry. I stand up and I do my stretches.
yeah." I've been like kind of circling back around into like painting and, getting into art, which has been good.
Oh, wow. Has it just been during quarantine or has it been before this?
Yeah,
Where you're kind of doing
I guess it's been a little bit before, but I'm getting more into it now that I have the time.
that?
I do graphic design on the side, so music doesn't pay all my bills. But yeah, that is kind of like halted too because businesses are
Yeah.
closing and they don't have the money to pay, someone to do these things for them. So it's been
Yeah. Yeah.
weird.
It's been very weird. So I do social media on the side, and so I like I've had, people drop my services because they're like, well, we just can't afford it or whatever. And then, but I've also had people be like, oh no, we need you more than ever. And I'm like, yes, you do. Yes, yes. And it's really because like right now we're all, from a social media standpoint, we're all sort of tiptoeing on eggshells of what we can and cannot say. And like,
Yeah.
if you're a business out there being like, buy my stuff, it just kind of comes off
Yeah,
as
actually, I think that translates to a lot of different things. So, like with music, I had a release that just came out on the 20th of March, and I had it set to come out the 20th of March for like 2 months, right? You
yeah,
do all the things like long before they actually hit all the platforms,
yeah,
and like a couple days before, I'm like, this is weird. Should I even put this out? Should I cancel this right now and like push it back for when I don't
right.
know, when it's not so weird, like, hey, look at me, listen to me.
Look at
Like,
my stuff.
yeah, with all the crazy stuff going on, you should, download my single. Like,
Right.
just a bit bit strange, but I think I framed it more like, hey, if you're making a playlist because you're social distancing and you need,
Yeah.
whatever on it. But
Yeah. I feel like art is one of the, music, art, like this is one of those communities where, or professions, I should say, that like people need it more than ever. So it is okay to like, I feel anyways, I was like, yes, like put it out there, like let people see it, like promote it, because you're doing the world a service by putting that stuff out there to provide that entertainment, but it is, yeah, you did end up putting it out, right?
yeah, I did.
Good.
Yeah.
Good.
And through like a marketing standpoint, you have more of an audience right now. People are like glued to their phones and they're,
Yeah.
it
Yeah.
just is. It's a weird thing to like venture through at the moment because no one knows what they're doing.
Yes, it really is. And I know, like, yeah, for comedy wise, it is super weird of like, hey, you guys need to laugh. Like, you guys want to come watch my Zoom show? Because like, we're gonna do some laughs. And it's like, no, like,
That's exactly what people need. Like with
yeah,
such a somber like tone right now, people are, freaking out. They need something to make them,
yeah,
laugh.
yeah. And they need content that isn't all quarantine stuff all the
Yeah.
time, and all Corona stuff. Like, I think that is probably why, one of the reasons why that Tiger King show just like jumped up and like everyone rallied behind it, because it gave everybody something else to talk about, like anything else, literally anything else. This guy with tigers, yep, let's talk
All
about it.
tigers and murder? Okay.
Yeah,
And
let's do it. Like, please, anything. Yeah, it's a very, yeah, because it is such a weird and depressing time, and like, yeah, people just need stuff. But yeah, but at the same time, for us who are actually putting out the content, it is like a very weird.
you're
Yeah,
yeah,
hey guys.
going around like, "Psst, hey, I know that you're going through something right now, but
Yeah. Well, and it's weird doing that just normally, like
yeah,
pandemic or not. It was already weird being like, "Hey guys, I got a show night. You guys want to come check out? Like, come on out, check out my stuff." It's like already a weird thing to do.
yeah, self-promotion is
It's hard, yeah.
hard.
Uh-huh. But yeah, it's especially hard during the pandemic, but then at the same time it's like, but you got to do it, because it's like it keeps us going creatively, like it's healthy for us, and then it's also healthy for the people who are consuming the content, like they're, like I said, gives them something else to do and listen to.
Yeah.
Yeah, but still weird. But
Yeah,
it's still weird.
hopefully this ends soon. It would be good if there's like some sort of miracle and it's just gone.
Yeah,
Poof.
right, and
And we
they
can go
figure it
full
out, and it's just, I know.
And everyone would kind of like, I don't know, just be more thankful for what they have and that they can go have a beer with their friends and not feel like, they have to worry about washing their hands. Not everyone should wash their hands, but like worrying about washing your hands every 10 minutes and touching things and,
Yeah, yeah,
we take
right,
it
for
to
sure.
not do that.
I had to go to the post office. I think it was like 2 weeks ago. I was like, I had to get stuff out, and there was no other option. And like, I literally walked into the post office, and I was like, okay, let me write down on my package at the end. And I'm like, oh no, I can't touch anything. And I was like, how do I get these boxes out of the rack? Like, how do I, like, it was like literally like everything you have to touch. And it is something that like I didn't even realize until I walked in there to do it. I was like, oh my God, I have to touch everything. Like, how do I do this? And like, so yeah, so I'm looking forward to a day where it's like you could just walk into the post office and like
Touch
take care of
somebody's
your
hand.
stuff. Yeah, yeah. Yeah, exactly. Like, yeah, and especially with family and friends, and it's like getting to see people again is gonna be just huge. So yeah, I do think we all will come out of this with like a better appreciation for that stuff, and not take it for granted, at least for a little while.
Yeah.
Yeah, which will be nice. And it's something to keep positive and think about in these times.
Yeah, you really have to stay positive because if you don't, you'll just like give in to the darkness of being at home and not having things to do and whatever. And then, that doesn't cultivate a
Right, right.
good.
And like the worry of like, what's the next, what's gonna happen next, and
Yeah.
just
Nobody got time.
Yeah,
Well,
yeah, exactly.
but we shouldn't. We should,
Yeah,
know.
actually, we have more time than ever to do that.
Uh,
Oh my God. Well, Taylor, thank you so much for joining me today. It was
no
so
problem.
nice catching up with you. Um, you are on Spotify. Is that the best platform for people to listen to you?
Yeah. Spotify is good for listening. You could pretty much find me anywhere at Taylor Dukes. So
Okay. Okay, great. Do you have a website too?
I have a website, taylordukes.com. Although my Instagram is Taylor D Dukes. My Twitter is Taylor_Dukes.
Ah.
And my Facebook is Taylor Dukes Music. So I obviously don't have someone like figuring out my business stuff for me because that's confusing.
Well,
But
that's hard though because it's also I'm the same on all my platforms, but that's because there's literally one other Kelly Thewlis in the world, and she lives in
yeah,
England. Taylor Dukes is a little bit more.
there's a Taylor Dukes on Instagram. I wanted Taylor Dukes, and she hasn't posted anything in the last like 10 years. And so I've been trying to get like I tried to message her and I'm like, "Hey, can I have your profile? Like just delete it. I
Yeah,
want the name." So you're not obviously not using it, but she
but
hasn't
she doesn't get on there, so you can't even.
yeah. She forgot the password. She doesn't even know how to get into that anymore.
Yeah, right. Oh man, there should be a way to petition Instagram. Be like, come on.
'Cause I haven't dug deep enough to find out.
Uh, yeah.
Maybe if I have all this time on my hands, I will.
Yeah, there you go. If you don't come out of this without having destroyed someone else's Instagram account, are you even you know you had the time. You just don't have the ambition
Lazy.
to destroy other people's Instagrams.
Well,
Yeah,
we're
no, that is a challenge. I had a website stolen from me recently because I searched I had like a website name that I was going to generate, and then I searched it first to see if anything was out there, and there wasn't, and I was like, all right, it's for my social media business. I was like gonna actually like make a website for this and yeah, I was like, well, let me sleep on it, and like when I came back, someone had bought the name, and they were like, we'll sell it to you for $200,000.
what?
Yeah, right. I was like, oh,
We should all publicly shame them.
I know, right? Isn't that insane? Like, so that's what somebody does is they just like watch for people to search for web addresses and then buy it before you can, and then like try to sell it back to you. I was like, no, I will come up with a new name. Like,
Messed up. I have been looking for some at-home ways to make money. Maybe I should start doing that.
yeah, start holding web addresses for ransom. Like, perfect.
Fun.
New at-home money scheme. Stealing people's web addresses.
Ruining lives.
Yes. Yes. Perfect.
200,000. That's steep.
Isn't that insane? Well, and especially because the only reason I didn't go for it right away was like, do you really want to spend $20 on this web domain? I don't know. I'll sleep on it. And then like $200,000. I was like, I didn't even know if I wanted to spend $20. I slept on $20. I'm not
I
200.
bonded. That would be great.
Yeah.
Like $2,000. You crazy.
Yeah, like, no, that's not happening. All right, well, we should go. It's been so nice talking to you. Thank you
It's
for
been
joining
great.
me today,
Thanks.
especially so early in the morning.
Yeah.
Yeah. Good luck to everybody out there. And I'm really like, we're gonna post your music on here. I look forward to everything that you come out and create. And you're just very beautiful, talented, and just put such beautiful music. So
Right back at you with your comedy.
yeah, well, thank you. All right, well, good talking to you.